This is The Farm, a painting by Jean Moreau made from 1921 to 1922. My name is Aaron Davis. I'm a sophomore in this class. I'm a sociology major, and I'm going to try to get into this painting right here. So on first impression, I noticed kind of an impressionist feel to it almost. The sky is very solid blue. The moon up here, or I'm assuming that's the moon, it could be the sun, but it looks a little white to be the sun. But it kind of reminds me in its like solid colorness of The Sun and Sunrise by Claude Monet. Now, mind you, this is a little later than a lot of Impressionist works, so I think there's definitely a lot of, other techniques being used, other schools of art. There's a little bit of a cubism feel to it, almost even surrealist, because as you can see, on first glance, it kind of just looks like a regular landscape, but these trees, they have, leaves that aren't really, I don't know if that's visible, but they have leaves that kind of go like this, instead of really looking like normal leaves on trees. And maybe that's just a different type of leaf that we don't have here. But I like to think it's Impressionism or Surrealism. Over here we have a little bit of a net thing going on, or at least that's how I'm reading it. Although it doesn't look like it's fully netted, whatever it is, and there's a lot of objects within it. That gives me a little bit of a cubist feel. There appear to be all sorts of animals in here. Although a lot of them, I would say, are potentially the same rabbit, or just, multiple rabbits that all look the same in different positions, which is kind of what gives me a cubism feel on that section. There are also these houses over here and here. This one is relatively normal looking, although there is the back of a horse in the door. So that's interesting. Or maybe it's not interesting. I don't know if people in the 1920s had a lot of horses in their house. But yeah, I guess those are my first impressions. I'm getting Impressionism, I'm getting Cubism, I'm getting a little bit of Surrealism. And generally speaking, I'm a little fuzzy on what the message is supposed to be, if there is a message. But we'll get that in the research section. And we are back. So, a couple things that I should note. Number one, I probably should have paid attention to the title of the painting when being confused about why there were so many animals and why there was a horse going into the house. That would be because this painting is The Farm. So that's my mistake. Second of all, this farm was actually based off of Miro's family's farm. So this lends some credence to my idea of this as like an Impressionist painting, of his hometown in Spain or something like that. Like, this strikes me as somewhat of like a Paul Cézanne kind of thing, Mount Saint Victoire. This is Miro's version of that, right? It's very nostalgic to me, or at least it reads as nostalgic. The sky is very solidly blue, and the moon or the sun, whatever that's supposed to be, it's very bright. It's full if it's a moon, it's regular if it's a sun, but, either way, it's up. You see, like, the beautiful tree, all of the animals running around. It kind of gives a vibe of, like, blissfulness, the innocence that is kind of... the innocence that's kind of characteristic of youth and of animals in this painting. I think he's drawing a little bit of a parallel because he thinks of his family farm as somewhere where he experienced a lot of the innocence of youth. And these animals experienced a lot of the innocence of being animals as opposed to humans, right? So there's that. There's a lot of geometric patterns happening here. As I pointed to earlier, there's this kind of like Hershey's chocolate bar looking thing. The tree is in like a perfectly circular pot or something. I can't really tell what that is. I'm also still not sure what the net is, if that's a net, but it seems to be an enjoyable spot for the animals. So that's all that matters. But it does show a little bit what I'm talking about with like the cubism stuff, the more abstract nature of the painting, because I think part of what he's doing here is playing with the abstraction of memory and how, like, you know, a lot of the things you remember from your youth are very, I guess, solid, geometrical. That's such a weird word to use to describe memories, but like they're very idealistic, I guess. Like the perfect circle over here, the perfect moon, the perfect sky. Everything here is perfect. Like it's awesome, and I think that's what he's trying to get across here. So, just to give you some reference, this is the actual farmhouse. Now, I didn't see any pictures of this from like different angles, but to me, this reads as one single building. And maybe I'm just seeing it wrong, but I don't know. To me, it reads as one building. The trees over here are very, I want to say they're more dense than the ones he painted. And a lot of this, you know, there's clouds, there's, you know, other foliage in the background. And it's occurring to me that this might be a side view of the house. So bear with me here. But this is kind of where I got the cubism from, just in that he's showing a lot of different angles of the same farmhouse. He's showing, okay, and when I turn it around, that really looks like one building. So unless I am insane, anyway, it's different angles, different views of the same thing. Overall, a great picture of nostalgia, a great picture of a general kind of Spanish culture of nostalgia around that time period. I think we were nearing like a lot of, you know, nationalism, the darker sides of nostalgia at that point in history. But anyway, that's my analysis. I'm going to stop it here because I'm going over time.